Hey, I'm Joshua Steele, and welcome to my personal garage. Let's check it out.
Thank you for watching BrianRhodesTV. Do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
This is Brian Rhodes for BrianRhodesTV. I'm here with Joshua from Nevrslo Motorsports. Hey, can you tell me about this Camaro build?
So this is a 1969 Camaro. I did a full body off restoration. We basically started with a suspension. We did a Ride Tech. So it's a full coilover front, Ride Tech front end. The rear, full 4-link coilovers in the rear. Like I said, body off, full restored. But what's unique about Ride Tech is they make the subframe connector, which actually connects to the 4-link in the back, kind of locks it all together. I kind of kept a little traditional, and I kept the original stock unibody, crossmember, not unibody, but the rear, but the whole front crossmember subframe in the front. Had it, blasted down, powder coated, kind of keep that original kind of look to it. And then as far as a engine platform, it's a 350 motor, built 350. And then we did an 871 wheel and blower, and then dual 650 carbs. We got it tuned. It's been dynoed. I think it did right at like 680 to the wheels. It still has the big pulley on it. I'm kind of a firm believer of not going out and blowing up your really nice built cars. So I kind of kept it just chill. But I mean, 680 to the wheels, any car is a pretty darn fast car. And like I said, I kept the interior really, really original. I found the car up in Dallas from a guy. I think he was going through a divorce. I'm not sure. It was, kind of a piece of junk. But the interior was really, really clean. The only piece of interior that I had to actually order and redo was the just the seat bottom cushion. And I did get a new steering wheel because he had some aftermarket goofy steering wheel, but still had the original dash, door panels, everything like that. The gauges in it were the autometer gauges, carbon fiber, which I'm not like a huge fan of, but I thought they were cool and I kept them. All the gauges work: fuel gauge, tach, temperature, RPMs, miles per hour, battery, which is always awesome when it comes to older vehicles. My little secret behind all these vehicles that I restore is when they're down to bare bones chassis or whatever, new harness. We do American Wire and Specialties, new harness, 100%. And that's what just can ensure you that it's going to start, it's going to run, all the gauges are going to work, blah, 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 for sure.
What kind of carburetors are those?
I believe those, I went with Demon or they, what do they got going on? Oh, Brawler. Yeah, excuse me. The Demon's on the other couple builds. Yeah, we did Brawlers on these. My tuner kind of recommended them in a sense, and he was like, man, they're great carbs for what you're gonna do and cruising around and looking cool, riding the streets and 620 in Austin and having some horsepower to get on it and go.
Do you have to adjust those a lot? I know those Hollies.
A little bit. It's kind of weird, man. The carburetors you would think are just so easy and just, you bolt them on and go. For the most part, you can order, a carb from Holley and bolt it on your 350 motor and go. Like, for instance, these two C10s, Holley carbs, whatever, bolt on, kind of go kind of thing. When it comes to a blower motor, you do have to have the correct fuel pressure. Like, we're running an Edelbrock electric fuel pump. You have to. It does have to maintain a very specific fuel pressure regulation. And then the carbs 100% do come into play. They do almost in a sense, it sounds kind of weird, but have to be kind of detuned because the fuel is pumping so much fuel into the bowls. You don't want to flood the bowls, run too rich, blah, 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 blah. So the carbs do have to be a little tweaked and messed with. Yeah. But for the most part, you can, quote unquote.
You don't want to get the flames coming up there.
And that happens. It's happened, yeah. But for the most part, yes, quote unquote, you can just bolt them on, and it will run and drive and go. But when you really want to get on it and things like that, they will have to be tuned.
I see you got rid of the fender liners, the carbon fiber.
Yeah, so these are custom made. There's a company, I believe, out of Illinois. I can't remember.
That looks good. That looks
too
good.
Sure. But yeah, we the OEM tubs are those just kind of ugly black, you know. I mean, obviously if I was to keep them, they'd been powder coated and nice, but I found these and I was like, that's number one right there. So did the carbon fiber tubs, did the carbon fiber valence in the front right here. We shaved the firewall, really clean on the firewall, so it's all been shaved. Shaved the cowl with the windshield wipers.
Yeah, it's got a real clean look.
Yeah, you know, I kind of went a little crazy. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do something that I kind of really don't do, and we did a Bass Boat Sparkle Green on the block. So when you look in there, you're kind of looking around like, whoa, it's just like boom. And in the sun, it pops really, really crazy, you know. And then the more carbon fiber, same thing. We did the splitter, diffuser, I guess you'd call them diffuser, like call them the new cars now, in carbon fiber. We patinaed the bumpers. If you don't know a lot about 69 Camaros, normally the edge of this bumper sticks kind of out. It kind of looks bulky.
So usually that's chrome also. Right?
Yeah, they come chrome. So like I said, we bought the one that's a shortened one, had them blasted down. We did this satin black. We did the same thing on the rear. You know, I've seen a lot of Camaro guy, you know, door handle, same thing too. Shaved in the gutter, took that off, satin black, all the window trim.
That looks good.
Same thing on the bumper, satin black, and then have the carbon fiber spoiler as well. You will see a lot of 69 Camaro guys when they really go really deep down the rabbit hole of, you know, customization. They'll shave this and French it all in. That's just a whole lot of fabrication, bodywork, this, that. And it kind of seems like the more bodywork, shaving, cutting, welding, tabbing, notching, filling, you'll get into this area where when you start driving them, if you don't do it really, really good, you'll start to see that stuff break out and pop. So I just was like, you know what? I really, really want to keep it as original in a sense as possible. I know you're seeing a giant blower coming out of the no hood because it's so big, but I really love, if you know my builds and you know what I do, you know I always love trying to keep the interior as original as possible because I love going back in time.
Yeah.
My favorite movies are Back to the Future and all the time travel movies. So I love getting in this car because I feel like I'm back in time. But then when it comes to like the wheels and things like that, I do, especially on a 69 Camaro, like a muscle car, you got to go big on the rear. It does have a little 2-inch tub. I actually customized it a little bit more and is able to shave a little more off that. It's like kind of like an upper sub piece of the frame pocket, and you can shave that off more. So I actually got about 3 inches. And I believe, what are we running on this thing? We went pretty.
Are those 21s or?
These are 19s.
19s.
Yeah, so
okay.
we did a 225 30 19 in the rear. I mean, if you film behind that thing, you'll see that's a pretty darn big patch of rubber, you know, on the road. So it looks really good. You know, like I said, just same thing. We did the satin black on the, you know, the locks, the door handles, all the, you know, the window trim.
Was that wing custom made or?
It's not custom made, quote unquote. It's built to order is what they kind of call it. The same thing with the tubs. They're built to order. Now I did, when I called him, the tubs normally would come with all your holes drilled out for the wire, because that's where the wiring harness normally goes. So that would be the only, I guess, custom thing about it is when I talked to the gentleman that owns the company that does this, I was like, hey, can you just make mine completely smooth? No holes, nothing. He's like, yeah, for sure, no problem. So that's what I did. So that's why it gives you that really clean. I even asked him if he could do, because I told him to go on hoodless because the blower, and I asked him if he could fill in, you know, that's where the hood latch goes, like that. He said that's the only part they couldn't do because it does come out of like an injection molding kind of thing when they carbon fiber and do it.
Definitely.
But the fender wells, I was able to get away with that. So kept it really clean. You know, I'm a big fan of Chevy or Ford or whatever logos on a vehicle when it needs to be. You know, when you're going for that full on look, kind of what I did with the 79 C10. But on the Camaro, I was just like, I wasn't like a huge fan of the bow tie. Yeah, like the front or the rear, or even if you notice, even the side markers, they're not there. Like the 350, you normally would have right about here, I believe. No, actually, it's right about here. Here, I think it's the. Yeah, that's right. The 350 logo is here, and the side marker lights exactly. So these fenders are actually Detroit steel. And they actually come completely shaved, done, ready to go.
Oh, okay. I thought, are they fiberglass or?
No, these are metal.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they all bolted on great. But the nice thing is when you can find a company that already makes a fender or whatever piece that you don't want the logo or this, that, and it's already like metal filled in this and that. There's no welding, no filler, no this and that. It's the way to go. Because like I said earlier, the more you shave, fill, Bondo, whatever, fiberglass, you do run the risk of stuff cracking. So the same thing too on the 69 Camaro. Normally on this front header panel, right about here, you'd have the Camaro Chevy logo. It says Camaro in cursive as a Chevy. That would over there. Same thing, you can find it shaved in. The one thing they also do make, and I didn't know, is they actually make the shaved cowl where the windshield wipers are all already shaved in, ready to go. That I didn't know, so that I actually did cut out the circles, fill it, sand it, shave it, and you're good to go. But this is kind of a piece too. It's not taking a bunch of this and all that kind of stuff because it's here. So it's just when you get into like the fenders and body kind of area, when you start shaving and doing things that kind of need to kind of move and stuff like that, you just got to do it really, really good. Because
what kind of brakes are you running on?
So what we did on this is the Wilwood 6-piston in the front and Wilwood 2 in the rear. And this thing stops on a dime because if you look, up on the firewall here, the whole kit comes with, the Wilwood master cylinder. It comes with a really exceptional Wilwood, the adjustment.
Oh, so it came with a whole kit.
Yeah, it's the full kit. I'm blank right now, but it's the full kit. And the proportion valve. There we go. So it comes with a really nice proportion valve that you literally you can go drive in the neighborhood and you can just turn the dial indicator, the knob right here, and it'll brake you more in the front or brake you more in the back, etc. Because normally I think on just your regular car it's like 60-40 or 70-30 or 65-35, whatever. But being as 69 Camaro is pretty heavy in general, and plus it's got some good power behind it. I have a way more of the braking power up front for sure. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably like 75-25. So I've got really good braking up front.
When you installed them, was it a hard time bleeding them out? Making sure it was in the area in the lines?
No, not really. I mean, the kit's really nice. You have to make sure because, like I said, these are custom wheels from Forgeline. It's like it's a 3-piece wheel, a 3-piece on the rear, the 2-piece on the front, and the way the snouts from Wilwood and everything kind of just all bolt together. Everything's kind of bolted together really nicely. It is like a conversion. Because the knuckles on the front are the drop knuckles with the race line suspension, all that kind of stuff. So you do have to get, when the brakes come, they come with a couple different like shims and adapters and brackets. You just got to kind of figure out which one is which for your setup and this and that. Because obviously you don't want your wheel hitting your brakes and this and that. But other than that, bleeding it, I mean, I just, bolted everything on, ran all new brake lines. As you can see, all the brake lines are really custom. They're really tucked in there, really, really hidden. And then, we just started doing your regular old, bleeding up, down, get all the air out and blood.
Is this thing automatic or?
No. So what I did, I'm glad you asked. What I did is at first, like I said, I like kind of keeping it old school, kind of keeping it kind of cool and this and that, is I had a Muncie 4-speed in there. Don't let your grandparents or your dad lie to you. The Muncie transmission is horrible, okay? It's, maybe not horrible, but it is not like a Tremec TKX, because that's what's in it now.
Tremec TKX,
so I had the Muncie 4-speed, driving it around, and I had the linkages perfectly adjusted, the whole deal, everything, and it just didn't shift good. It just felt weird and just not right. So I believe before I debuted the car at Autorama, like a couple of years ago, or whenever, I went over to the Tremec booth, and I met a gentleman there, and I was telling him about the Muncie 4-speed, and he's like, "Oh, dude, you got to check out our TKX." He walks over there with his pinky and starts shifting the TKX 5-speed. I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Sold, done. Bought the transmit. I've got one of my accounts, I believe it was Myers. They carry Tremec. Bought the TKX. Brought it in, pulled out the Muncie, the car I believe was like over here in the garage, pulled out the Muncie, dumped it out, put it on Facebook, sold the Muncie transmission the next day for $2,000. With a TKX, bolted up in, put it in, done, good to go, runs amazing. Perfect.
What about the paint job? How long did you take to get that paint like that?
Paint, man. The car originally was white with grabber orange racing stripes. So what we did, obviously, when I first get a build, comes into the garage or the shop, and fully up on jack stands, completely comes apart all the way down to everything.
Wired harness, everything off.
Everything comes out all the way down to, I keep the stock suspension on it because I don't care if it gets overspray and all that crap, but everything comes out so the vehicle completely can be blocked out down to the metal, primed, painted, etc., etc. This particular vehicle, like I said, we did new fenders, new trunk, new cowl, new lower valence pieces. The doors are original, body obviously original. So
what about the underbody on there?
It was just beat up. He had some, there was some the fender issue dents. I didn't want the side markers and the logos. It almost costs as much to sit there and take original fender with that crap on it, block it all down, sand it, fill it, blah, 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 to get to this, when you could just call up Detroit Steel. I got an account with them and order fenders. So, got it in the paint and body, and it probably was in paint and body by the time we kind of started working on it, and myself in general, and then my paint by and blah, 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 blah. Probably, I honestly would say about a year and a half. It was in paint and body for a good while. It was kind of during the coronavirus time too in the area, and stuff was just slow.
You did a good job on that paint.
Yeah, the paint came out amazing. I mean, it's an absolute black mirror, and it's exactly how I wanted. The one thing we did shave also from the doors, because the original doors, is the mirrors. So there's no mirrors on both sides.
I just noticed that.
And
are those vents
that's original? By the head too. So the louvers, so the way it came from 69, there'd be a hole here, 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 and here, and then you'd have like this chrome looking bat wing louver that pretty much fills those gaps right there and bolts in, and then you go through this panel here, and that's how you bolt them up on the inside. Those things are ugly. I couldn't stand it. They make them in black, but I was like, no, we're not going to do that. So I just had my guy simply fill the 4 holes. That's easy, because that's something that's not going to pop out, break, vibrate as bad. So I was like,
it looks good.
It looks really clean. I've seen a few guys in the past do it, and I was like, you know what? That looks really, really cool the way it is, because they're just perfect little body kind of little slits. I think it came out amazing. Original glass, original windshield. There's even a scratch in the windshield on the other side. I had my window guy try to get it out. He couldn't. And he was like, man, I've got a brand new windshield. That is an original windshield. Original glass. He's like, man, I got a brand new windshield for a Camaro. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that, because, like I said, if you can hold on to and grasp, a lot of the original things of a car and bring it back, man, it just makes it so cool. It really does.
You said the glass in the back is original also.
Original glass in the back too. Yep. And the way you can tell, obviously, is looking at the numbers and the things like that, but you can look at like the green in the glass, and like that old green crud, how they came in. Because, like I said, if you go to the front, you can see what I'm talking about, where it's they don't do, what's cool about it, they don't do this anymore. You see the haze strip, the sun strip. Yeah. On modern cars nowadays, they do a tint piece there. You got to tint it. They don't do it like that anymore, and that was one of the main reasons I was like, no. You got to try to keep the original glass. You could get the scratch out, not a big deal. Even with the rear view mirror, original rear view mirror.
I was just getting ready to ask you about that.
I mean, it looks kind of ugly, but you know what? It's cool, because it's, like I said, it's when you get in this thing and you go cruise around, you feel like you're in the 60s. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even there, and I think it's great. Just trying to keep it as nostalgic as you can. But what's crazy about the 69 Camaros is they are not the greatest riding vehicle if you're like, oh, I'm going to keep it all stock. I'm going to keep the stock suspension with the springs and the rear with the single leaf pack and this and that. Man, they drive like a boat out at sea. You just don't want that. So when it comes to like doing, they're called resto modification, resto mods. When it comes to doing this, it is definitely beneficial if you can afford it to do like Ride Tech, and there's lots of the companies out there, but you got to get it on coilovers. It just has to plant good. You just don't want your Camaro doing this driving down the street. You know what I'm saying? You want it to plant good and just feel almost like a sports car in a sense, but obviously 50 some odd years old. So
that radiator, does it have any brass in it, or I see it's aluminum on the outside?
So this radiator is from, it's called Entropy. I can't remember Entropy, how they pronounce it. But what they do, it's really unique. I started off with a Be Cool radiator, 60-inch single fan. It just wasn't enough. The car was running at like 210, 220. A little hot for my taste, you know, cruising around. So I got a hold of these guys. What they do is they take a big block radiator for like a big block Camaro or Chevelle, whatever, Nova, anything like that, had a big block in it. They take the big block size of a radiator and they kind of condense it down in a way so that it works with a 350. This thing holds like 4 gallons. I mean, it's a big radiator. Dual 16, what is this? Dual, I think we did it's like a dual 12s on here. And they, apparently from what they've told me, they carry the fan and the setup, how it does, and this and that, has the lowest amount of draw, and then has the most amount of pull. And a lot of people don't know this, but if you take dual fans and you take the hots and the grounds and you merge the grounds together and you merge the hot together and this and that, you don't want to do that. You want everything separate. They actually sell a full kit. You can't even see it because everything's hidden, but it's a full separation kit where you have like one hot goes to that hot, one of the fan goes to its own hot, the grounds go to this ground, the ground go to this ground, because you want them individual, because that's how you'll get the most amount of pull, because it's pulling air, you know, through from the, you know, the front of the vehicle, you know, this way.
I had an '84 Corvette and it just ran too hot, so they had a mod with a temperature sensor. Does this have like a temperature sensor cut on?
It absolutely does. Okay. So if you walk over here, like I said, I keep everything very hidden. If you look right there,
okay, I'll see
that's where it's at. My wire runs straight down, kind of goes over, goes, you know, where it goes to the wire into the system, and that's, I believe this one is set at, that sensor is set at 180. I believe it's 180 or 185. So
it was the same as
it was a
Corvette.
blessing because so as soon as I installed,
it was 220.
Yeah. So as soon as I installed everything, started it up. I usually let the Camaro. I started up and try to get it kind of out of the garage quick because my wife will be like, "Oh my God, the gas fumes are just—it's horrible for the house." So I'll pull it out and I'll let it warm up to about 150, 160, and then I go cruise. And it was such a blessing with this radiator because I'm starting to sweat a little bit because I'm getting to like 185, 180. I'm like, okay, here we go. What's going to happen? Sure enough, at 185, boom, fans come on. Because I can't hear them, but since I don't have a hood, I can see them as I'm driving. So the fans come on. Man, the car only got up to about 193, 195, and then went back down to 184, 185, and they shut off.
Have you ever gotten like stuck in traffic? And
okay, so that was the scary part. I'm glad you brought that up. That was a horrifying moment. But no, prior to having the big block setup radiator, I had the Be Cool, which don't get me wrong, Be Cool makes amazing products. Yeah, they're in these vehicles, but the 16-inch fan, the way I set up, just wasn't working. I was in traffic and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, come on, let's go, because the car got up to about 225, 230, which this is fully built, the aluminum heads, all this kind of stuff. My tuner guy was like, dude, you're fine. We've gotten these cars up to like 240, 245, 250 before. You're fine, everything's good. It still scared the crap out of me. So finally made it through the light and I just started hauling ass, okay, just to get some airflow going through it. Finally got it cooled down. I took a back road to get home, pulled it in here and I was like, I'm done, that's it. That's when I got on the internet, started doing some research, talked to my tuner, some people, and they're like, dude, get Entropy a call and your problems will be solved. And since then, no overheating, runs immaculate.
Are you gonna sell this one, or are you gonna keep this one in your collection? Or?
Honestly, I'm kind of weird when it comes to like my personal builds. I build my personal builds, okay, to basically how I would want them done, you know, yada yada yada. If somebody comes along, obviously money talks and you know it walks. Yeah. But if somebody comes along and wants to offer, you know, what it's worth and this and that, we'll talk for sure.
Thank you for watching BrianRhodesTV. Check out Nevrslo for parts to customize and transform your truck, car, or SUV.